What's up, fellow card fighters? Today's another beautiful day of doing deck profiles. It's been long overdue. This deck has been so long overdue that football season's already over. But let's do some Viamance Bruce, or Viamance Bruce, if you want to be all technical about it, deck profile. Let's get started. For our right line, we run one copy of Diablo's Innocent Matt, one copy of Diablo's Bad Steve, Diablo's Anger Richard, and Diablo's Viamance Bruce. Oh man, this deck was such a letdown. You got blue balls just thinking about it. But let's talk about it. Matt, if you go second, you draw a card. Steve, upon writing, you kick out Matt out of his soul, then you soul charge one. And this unit also has a second skill, continuous. If you're in a final rush, it gains 5k extra. Then you ride into Richard. Once riding to Richard, you choose one unit on your board, rear guard, kick it to the soul, and if you do, draw a card. And then the Viamance Bruce. Viamance Bruce skill. At the beginning of the battle phase, if all of your units on the board is Diabolos in his name, until end of your opponent's next turn, you get Final Rush. And if they're at a grade 3 or greater, you get Final Burst. Second skill, when this unit attacks, if you're in Final Burst, Counterblast 1, choose a column, restand all of your rear guards with Diabolos in its card name, and that column gains 5,000, until end of the turn, all the rear guards. So it becomes a 10k column. Alright, so moving on to the main deck, I guess. So the grade 3 in this deck will be 3 copies of Viamance Bruce, 2 copies of Julian, and 1 copy of Transfer. You honestly could take out the Transfer and put 1 more copy of Julian if you wanted to. I just like it as a tech-in, as a guard. We talked about Viamance Bruce, so we'll talk about Julian. Julian's skill is when this unit attacks a Vanguard, Counterblast 1, this unit gains 2,000 for each card in your damage zone. So if you have 5, it gains 10,000. And if you have Vanguard with Bruce in his card name, soul charge 1 for every 2 cards in the damage zone. Then choose up to the same number of cards soul charged by this card effect from your soul and call to the open rear guard circle. So it builds the board for free. It's kind of nice. Transfer, Soul Blast 1, 25k shield, and your Vanguard gains a continued skill of any choose one of your Vanguards, gain a continued skill. All of your opponent's units with 100 million power plus loses a crit until end of the turn. So that's it for the grade 3. Alright, moving on to the grade 2, which is like the main meat of this deck. It is 4 copies of Gino, 4 copies of Patrick, 4 copies of Jamil, 2 copies of Eden. And that's pretty much it. Oh, let me put it down here. There you go. Eden is when this unit hits Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent rear guards and retire it. And if I'm in Final Rush, this unit gains 5,000. And if it restood by a card effect, gains an extra crit. So it's kind of nice. Board control, whatnot. Jamil's there if you're in a Final Burst. This unit gains 10,000 power and 5,000 shield during yours and your opponent's turn. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Viamance Bruce, Counterblast 1, Soul Charge 1, choose one grade 3 or less unit with the Diabolos in its card name from the soul and call to an open rear guard circle. So it builds the board for free. Not for free actually, but for Counterblast. Alright, Patrick. Oh man, the loyal companion of this deck. I love this card. If you're in a Final Burst, this gains 10,000. And when this unit attacks a Vanguard, and if you're in Final Rush, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guard and move it to the Guardian Circle. If you're in Final Burst, choose 2 instead of 1. So it controls the board. Yeah, they can technically guard and make your opponent guard because he makes an intercept. But at the same time, it gets rid of pesky cards on the board that you want to get rid of. Alright, Gino. This card, it was something super late, but I guess better late than never, right? Front row rear guard skill. When your Vanguard attacks, if you're in Final Burst, Soul Blast 2 for every 2 cards in your damage zone. Choose one of your Soul Blast 2 for every 2 cards in your damage zone. Choose one of your rear guards in the same column as this unit and restand it. If you restood 2 units, they gain 5,000 until end of the turn. Second skill, front row rear guard. At the end of your turn, if you're in a Final Rush, put this unit into the soul. Choose a normal unit from your soul and you put it into your hand. So you can fetch a PG out of the soul with him. You can get another restanding column with him. He's a lot of versatile unit, but it was long overdue. Then it came out when the deck became completely irrelevant to the meta. So big no-no. Alright, This is the best girl, Diablo Stephanie. She's the bae. Then it is Derek, followed by Mabel, 1 copy of Hello Kitty, and 3 PGs and 1 Elementaria. And as always, I'm gonna skip it. Alright, Kitty skill. On place on rear guard, take 2 cards from the right deck, face up, counter charge. If this goes in a guardian circle, same thing, same cost. Instead of counter charging, it gains 15k shields. It's a 20k shield guard. So pretty much what it's used for. Mabel, if this unit is boosting a Vanguard, and if you're in the final rush, counterblast 1, choose your Vanguard, it gains a triple drive. So technically this forces Bruce into triple drive, so Elementaria does work against Bruce at that point. It's not drive +1, it's actually triple drive. Alright, let's go over this Diabolo's Derek. Derek's skill is when you're in final rush and this unit gains continuous skill, rear guard. In a battle, this unit boosted. When your opponent would call cards from their hand to guardian circle, they must call 2 cards or more at the same time. And it gains 5,000 until end of the turn. At the end of that turn, retire this unit, and it's a mandatory skill, so it has to retire. So you want to use this to make a finisher column, which makes him guard restrict. Now Stephanie. Oh, Stephanie. Why I love you so much. She was a promo. She did not need to be reprinted as an SIR in Triple Drive, but I guess they wanted to. She is so busted because continuous rear guard circle. If you're in a final rush, which you will be, and until end of your opponent's turn playing Viamance Bruce, all of your units in the same column as this unit gains 5k. So it makes your Vanguard, Bruce, if this is in the back row, behind Bruce, an 18k until end of your opponent's turn. So it's already one to pass right off the get-go. It's Mabel better? Sometimes. But having this, probably one of the best choices in your deck. Alright, last but not least, let's go over our trigger lineup. We're running 1 Dark State over trigger, 3 copies of this critical trigger, so cumulatively of 7 critical triggers. Then 2 generic heals, 1 for restanding heal trigger, 1 for innate crits, freaking heal trigger, and 4 copies of front triggers. Front triggers because front power is kind of crucial in this deck. It's kind of nice. Extra crit and resending heals are kind of nice because of current meta. I might take out the extra crit one for the higher grade heal triggers because of all the stride decks coming out. And then you kind of don't need this. You kind of want more of this one maybe because of the Diablo's card name. But I just like this one better because it's Gear Chronicle themed. And 7 crits because you like winning. And Dark State over trigger. I mean, you could argue you can put red OT in this deck, but having that extra crit 10k power pressure in this deck kind of hurts a lot. So yeah. So I guess the other option is if you wanted to, red OT or blue OT. But I will stick with this one. Well, that's about it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry for procrastinating too long. I've been sick, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.